Japan up against France this weekend, folks. Second game of their two-game series. Remember, Japan, having played Uruguay as well, they're kind of like a four-test run, hence why this series, I think, is just the two games. France won the first one pretty comfortably, 42 points to 23. Showing a bit of that depth in French rugby right now. And Japan maybe struggled a wee bit. A little bit disappointing, I think. Basically, Jamie Joseph just wants them to cut down on the errors. But anyway, we're going to go through some stats, some lineups, predictions, and you guys can let me know your thoughts on how this one might be going to go. Again, if you want to watch it, down in the description there will be a link to Flow. If you're in the States, that's the place to get it done, along with last week's games and the other games this week too. What do we got for the Japanese side? Well, they've kept the same front row, Inagaki, Sakate, and Valu. And I started to watch, I didn't finish it, but an episode from the Japanese camp, and it showed Sakate giving a speech, and it was having to be translated. So how they get across the language barrier in the squad, I guess it's done through translation, but certainly I would imagine it's like an extra hurdle that Jamie Joseph has to deal with when preparing these guys. But Sakate still seems to be a pretty inspirational captain, so he continues on in the number 2 jersey, although Horie, who missed last week's game after getting COVID, he is in on the bench. He is a proper veteran, that guy. Dearns and the Fijian guy, is it Waqa or Wanga? The Q in Fijian, I think, is usually a ng sound. So, yeah, I know he's a big unit. He's like 2+ meters tall. He played against Uruguay. Having a big, tall lock in Japan is sometimes an area where they don't always have the options, but he is certainly one. So I'm going to be looking out for him. Dearns is up from the bench, so it's an all-new second row. Leitch, Gunter, and Cornelsen are the back row. So Cornelsen moves from the second row to the back row, and then Gunter and Leitch kind of continue on. Saito is another one who recovered from COVID. He's back at 9. And then Lee continues on at 10. I thought Lee played alright, but just defensively, he was a bit of a revolving door or a turnstile. So he needs to be better defensively, otherwise he'll get the likes of Moefano and Vakatawa running straight at him all day long. So I don't know if you can fix that in a week, or maybe that's just a one-off performance, but certainly that's one that I hope he's been working on. Nakano and Riley in the midfield, I think that's the same as last week. Same with Van den Heever on the right wing, Fifita on the left wing. Fifita they used as a big ball carrier, didn't they? He did get some pay, but the French defence largely was looking pretty solid. And then Yamanaka is still there at fullback, so it's pretty stable. Horie, like I mentioned, is back. Morikawa and Kizu are the prop replacements. Tsuji is the lock replacement. But this is what I'm talking about. Like, he's not that. I think he's like 1.9 meters, which is average height maybe for a flanker. So he's not the biggest bit of timber if he does come on. Then again, I guess Cornelsen can switch. I'm not sure. I think Tsuji plays lock, but someone who follows Japanese rugby more closely will have to correct me if I'm wrong. Tatafu, who was a bit of a ball carrier as well, another one of the try scorers last week, drops to the bench. So expect him to add some impact. Shigeno, Tamura, and Gates are the other guys in the lineup. So 3 backs on the bench. Tamura is an addition to the 23. There's no sign of Yamasawa, who got COVID a couple of weeks ago or last week. Maybe he's not recovered in time. Van der Vault is also away from the squad. But yeah, essentially Jamie Joseph said he wants them to keep playing their passing game. And they did it last week. They passed it like 200 times. Like they really tried to shovel the ball around, but they weren't really able to tire the French guys out like some of us thought might happen. I thought the French big pack may struggle as the game went on. Didn't really seem to happen. For the French, remarkably stable. I was thinking they're going to do a full switch in the lineup, but nope. I think it's only 2 new names into the entire squad. So, Gros, Valu, and Bamba, same front row. Flamand, Jomes, same second row. Caton, Olivon, Tanga, same back row. And of all those guys, actually, I mean, I know Olivon was fantastic, but you kind of expect that from him. Tonga, I thought, was phenomenal. He is a very, very busy player. Saw him play for the Barbars. He looked really good. Saw him play last week. Very busy. Carries and tackles and just overall very, very busy player. So very, very kind of pleased for him. Of all the kind of new caps, he's the one that maybe stuck with me the most, although it's not just him. Luku and Jelly Bear are 9 and 10. It looks like Jelly Bear will have to do the kicking this week because they've made a change at fullback. So Jamine is out of the 23. So that's not a problem for Jalibert, but that will be an interesting one. Moefana Vakatawa, 12 and 13. Very effective midfield. Moefana especially as well. Had some really big carries. So set up a try, made it, scored his own try. Like phenomenal. Lebel and Pinot are on the wings. I mean, Pinot, I don't even know what to say. He just continues having a great year, doesn't he? So, yeah, what can you tell the Japanese defenders about watching him? Just be careful. And then Max Spring is there at fullback. So Max Spring is the one change to the starting 23. Remember, he missed the initial week with COVID as well. So he is a pretty exciting young fullback. We'll see if he's able to kind of add a bit of spark into that backline as well. The bench is the same. Bugari, Priso, Falatea, Lavo. Diallo is the only one who comes in. He's the only change. And then Makalu is still there. Remember, Makalu was playing on the right wing last week. Yeah. Kuyu and Astoy there as well. So very minimal changes from this French side, who have never lost to Japan, but they have had one draw, which was only in 2017, so not that long ago. But virtually none of these players played in that game, except I think Pinot and Makalu. So, yeah. Stats-wise, like I mentioned, the Japanese passed it 200 times. They offloaded it like 16 times, but they coughed up too much ball. They had like 16 turnovers conceded, which is sometimes going to happen when you are chucking the ball around that much. And like I said, they didn't really get to run the French off their feet. The French tackled at 91%, which is pretty comfortable. That's a really good number. France were clinical. They had less ball, but they had more defenders beaten. They had more clean breaks. Japan's tackling percentage of 80% is a testament to how good the French attack was. So, yeah, I thought France did exceptionally well. The bookies are saying France by 19 for this one, and the Rugby Forecast algorithm by 17. So France, big-time favourites. We're at Tokyo Stadium this week. I'm imagining it's still going to be pretty hot and humid, so expect water breaks. Mike Adamson is the ref. Hopefully we are not talking about him come full-time, but there you go. France against Japan. Should be an interesting one. I noticed Love of Rugby's got some French gear, including, like, if you've got a spare 960 euros, you can get a framed, signed Antoine Dupont Grand Slam memorabilia jersey if you've got almost $1,000 just lying around. But yeah, you guys take care and let me know your thoughts. I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.